They hand it off to Johnson. Boise State has won. Right now, and they take a downfield shot. And the catch is made. It's Riley Williams. Goes to the three. Touchdown.
All right, everybody, welcome in to another edition of the Gridiron Uncensored podcast, and it is Brendan and Trevor tonight. We are rolling through the Big Ten. Penn State, you are on deck, and there's a lot of hype around this team, Trevor.
Yes, there is.
Between production returning, all these different, coaching hires, the schedule, like all these things coming together, have this as a natty or bust season. And Penn State fans may not like to hear it, but I think they understand that it is. This is a great opportunity for Franklin to quiet everybody and say he can get over the hump, win the big games. And Trev, when we talk these previews, we always look, a little bit back before we go forward for those that are new to us. And we look at 2024. Trev, 26th offense in 2024. The defense was rated 7th in the country. These are, yes, total numbers, total offense, total defense. We know it doesn't tell the whole story, but it's a pretty good waypoint to run from. When you look at the 2024 schedule, for Penn State, really great year. I mean, deep playoff run, but still the biggest of the games. I mean, the big name teams. Yes, you did beat SMU in the playoffs. Your defense, had Jennings in a bind. You took down Genty and Boise State, but still you lose to Ohio State. You lose to Oregon in the Big Ten championship game. And then you lose a very tight, horrible ending for Penn State against Notre Dame.
And truthfully, you probably should have lost to Minnesota.
Yeah,
you did not play a good game, I don't think, in Minnesota. That could have gone badly for y'all if you lost that game. Yeah, if you lost that, you're not going to the playoff.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And really, it's so much of that was Warren and how just talented he was, and
he really was
on the offensive side. And we're going to get into all that. Can you replace that? We'll see. But Trev, moving on, into 2025, before we look at coaching and the portal, all that, couple of numbers. Returning production's at 65%. So I mean, you're returning a bunch from a playoff caliber team. SP Plus has you as the third best team in the country in the advanced stats world. That's all Bill Connolly. And then the strength of schedule has you at the 29th hardest schedule in the country, again, according to his numbers. So that leads us into, can James Franklin and this staff do it? Can he get them all the way to the top? Trev, what changes have been made? What are you seeing on this coaching staff?
Yeah, so obviously the big offseason pickup for Penn State is bringing Jim Knowles over from Ohio State to be the defensive coordinator for Penn State. And I guess it's a good hire. I mean, you guys don't play Michigan, so that's good. That's good news because he can't beat Michigan or stop them for that matter. So look, like, I don't mind Jim Knowles. I think he does decent at defensive schemes. I think that his defensive play calling is a little lax at times and a little vanilla at times. So I'm hoping with the talent, because I think Penn State has one of the best defenses in the country. I really do. I think they have a stacked linebacking core. Like, Penn State always has a really good linebacking core almost every single season. You guys can probably pick one, maybe two linebackers that probably could go in the first or second round in the NFL draft, generally speaking. So I think Jim Knowles it's a lateral move for him because of the talent on Penn State's defense.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it plays out. We'll just see how it plays out, because I'm very curious to see the transition and how he handles the Penn State defense as opposed to how he handled Ohio State's defense.
So I'll differ on that. I think it was a great hire from them to steal from Ohio State. Like, that's a huge move, a ballsy ass move to do it. I will agree. Like, yes, he had a Michigan problem, But before that, he's coached. He's done really well. He's had top level defenses, ratings wise. But I can agree with, like, sometimes the scheme maybe gets a little too aggressive at times, or I can see where they're coming from on that. But I do think it's one of the top hires.
No doubt, no doubt. I'm not necessarily hating on it. I'm just saying there are, for me, concerns with the hire, and that's all I'm really saying. I don't think it's a bad hire. I just think it's because I didn't think that Penn State had a defensive coordinator problem, but and unfortunately correct me if I'm wrong, Brendan, but the defensive coordinator moved on, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So with him moving on, I think this is a great pickup just to kind of keep things going in a positive and upward direction for the defense. And secondly, I'll just mention it just because I think it's funny. Trace McSorley is the assistant quarterbacks coach. So
yeah,
what it's worth.
Yeah, I think bringing guys back like that though is good. I mean, you see it a lot now with coaches being able to hire a lot of staff members and bringing back a guy that had a really good career at your school. I think it's important. And then Allar, getting that togetherness with McSorley, I think it'll be important for him. Running backs coach was another one. Drayton coming over, I think that's a good hire too. Especially with the backfield that this team has.
I feel like I could coach this backfield. That's how good they are.
That is fair.
That's how good they are.
So, a little bit on coaching there. Trev and I will disagree on the hire from Knowles, but I think, regardless, Penn State's loaded, and part of that comes from the portal. And we're going to look at that real quick. Transfer portal wise, 41st in the country. Not a big class. It's small, but it doesn't need to be when you're returning as much production as you do. And then the guys that you brought in are crucial to what you need to try and make the national championship game. Wide receivers, you have to have that for McSorley. All right, I'm thinking McSorley, Drew Allar, excuse me. I got McSorley on my mind, baby. But you bring in these receivers. You bring in linebackers from North Carolina. Defensive players, on the edge, linemen. Trevor, what do you think about this portal class? Do you think it's enough? I think it's really shores up the offensive questions.
Yeah, the offensive side of the ball is really, you could kind of tell that's where they wanted to get some difference makers and potentially some good substitute pieces. I thought that the Karan Hudson pickup from SC was a good one. I liked that one. And I definitely liked Trebor Pena from Syracuse. I think that's a good pickup as well. Both could potentially get some real decent amount of snaps at the receiver position. And Allar having weapons is never a bad thing for Penn State. He needs to be able to get the ball out quick this season, because the way this kind of schedule lays out, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, he's going to need to get the ball out quick because he's going to be facing a couple of really good defenses this year.
Yeah, it really, the wide receiver class here is key, and they went out. Devontae Ross even had a great year at Troy. So there's guys now that he can throw to, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. Well, hell, might as well move on into it now, because you look at King Mack. That's a good piece, for the defense. Just talked about him on our Michigan preview. Owen Wafel. I thought it was Waffle, but I guess that's wrong. Taking him from Michigan, I think that's a good move. There's pieces here that are going to step up. White as well from Texas A&M. Let's talk offense, because again, we know they're pushing for national championship. They want the Big Ten championship. It's been a minute. They got the taste of it last year, but just could not finish it. Can they do it this year with what they bring back? Kotelnicki, he's got the wide receiver room now. 3 starting level wide receivers that Allar can lean on. Mention all those guys. Tight ends, though, that's where you want to see, can they pick up the slack that Warren leaves behind, because he was such a player. He was elite. He really, this guy saved Penn State's season a couple of times.
Couple of times. I mean, he had what was that one game? Who's the team that he played against? He had like 255 yards receiving or some crazy number.
The Bowling Green game was one early in the season
It was against a Big Ten team, and I can't think of it.
Was it the Minnesota game? I can't recall.
Might have been. It might have been the Minnesota game because I think he's the one that saved that game for them and getting third and long first downs a couple different times, and they just couldn't stop him.
So he went the fuck off. We all know that, and he's in the league now. So can the tight ends pick up slack? I think there's talent there. We need to see it. And then obviously the halfback room is top 2 in the country, and some say it's not number 2. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of talent that you have with Singleton and Allen back there.
And
rushers.
Yeah, and speaking of tight ends, I mean, I know that they already have a few tight ends that they like, but they did bring Andrew Olesh in, who is a 6'4.5", 215-pound freshman who is the third best tight end in the country.
Yeah.
So there is a high potential that he is on the field for taking starter snaps this season as well.
Yeah, I mean, I remember his recruitment, very talented guy. So,
very talented.
There's no reason he can't, maybe, jump in. Obviously, you get the weight room.
If he puts on 10 or 15 pounds, that's a really good tight end for the Big Ten and really any conference, really.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he does in his career. So you look at the offensive line. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be one of the top units in the country. You got the size, you got the talent, you got returning starters. You've recruited well at that position. You did bring in, Shanahan coming over from Texas A&M as well. That's the guy that, at least for depth purposes, and even maybe, fill in. Yeah. But I mean, he's a big body at 6'4", 330, is what he's listed at on 24/7.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't think the O-line is going to be an issue.
Yeah. And then they also brought in the 5-star, top 5 interior offensive lineman, Malachi Goodman, at 6'5.5", 320 pounds, and he's a freshman.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, you guys have a lot of good things now and going on into the future. So if any of these youngsters that you're bringing in off the recruiting trail and transfer portal can come in and make an impact this year, you guys are in really good shape.
Yeah. And so when I look at this offense, they've got the receivers, they've got the running backs in the offensive line.
They do.
This is going to come down to offensive play calling. I've read recently, as of today, I don't know if it's true. You guys let me know, in the comments. Let us know if it's verified, but that Franklin had been stepping in a lot on some play calls and crucial moments. The report says that he's going to be stepping out of that completely and just letting the offensive coordinator do his thing. To me, if that's the case, that might be a huge thing because everybody that's watched the Big Ten knows that Franklin gets in these positions and he sometimes can choke games away. You guys might hate to hear it as fans, but it's a goddamn fact.
Look, Franklin is a bad head coach when he's just being the head coach.
Yeah, I
hate saying that, but he is not. In my opinion, he has been in the head coaching position for too long to be able to jump back into a coordinator mindset as the head coach. I just don't think he has the ability to jump back and forth, as they say. And I think Kolonicki is just going to have if what the report says is true, that is a benefit to Penn State. I think he would be hurting the team by calling offensive plays.
I'll agree. And I mean, there's times that you see field goals that they would kick, and you're just like, why that decision? Why right then? Let go. So I'm curious to see how this will play out this season, because if you want that national championship, it's going to fall on the coaching and then
game management. Game management's a huge thing.
Yes.
And like you said, the field goal situation, sometimes when it's 4th and a half a yard, I'm just like, come on, you got Drew Allar, who's 6 whatever and like 200 and some odd pounds. Just have your offensive line push through. And take the first down.
And if he's the guy that everybody wants him to be, you got to be able to put it on his shoulders. And that's kind of where I'm going next with him is, can he handle that pressure? Because in the biggest moments, there's times that I feel like cannot get it done. I go back to, I think it was 2 years ago now, a Michigan game. It was like 4th and something, and he nerfs this thing into the dirt. There was like nobody around.
I remember that game.
And
yeah,
I'm like,
I remember
what
that game.
the fuck just happened? Like, okay, we'll take it. Look, we're not gonna hide the fact we're Michigan fans, clearly, but you know we're trying to keep it real here, and I like Penn State. I think this team is very exciting. You're probably gonna like
this
what
is
I say
probably
about
my. I mean, I have never been a proponent to say I like Penn State,
yeah.
but I truly love outside of Allar because I'm not all in on Allar yet. As far
Yeah.
as people saying, "Oh, he's this elite guy," where he's on the level of Nussmeier and like he should be talked about in the same breath as Nussmeier. I'm not there. I'm not there with him.
Yeah.
But that being said, I think the running backs for Penn State, best in the country. Top three running back duos that they have is probably best in the country.
Yeah.
Top three at best. I think that you guys need to lean on the running game and running game to set up the pass is what has to happen for Penn State this season, I think.
Yeah, and I'll say one last thing about it before we move on to defense.
Yeah.
Drew Allar, he did take a step forward last season. He really did. He went from 59% up to 66. And then 24 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. He had a couple too many on those in the biggest games. You look at the Notre Dame interception, that was bad. Against Oregon, 2 picks there. Against USC, which was an overtime game. I think that might have been the one that Warren went the hell off on it. But
that
3 picks there. I'm pretty sure Warren even threw a touchdown on that game.
He might have. He did a little bit of everything.
I'm pretty sure that's the one. We've done so many fucking previews, guys. I can't remember all of them.
I can't remember which game Warren. I specifically remember watching the game, and I could not believe what I was seeing. Because even if I was sitting there, it's going to Warren, guys. Yeah. Just double him.
And they couldn't do it.
And they didn't do it. They wouldn't do it. They refused.
But either way, it's just one of those. I want to see him take that next step in being able to, when all the pressure is there, make those big time plays. He's a damn good quarterback. I think he's a very good quarterback. Can he get it in the clutch moments? That's where my question is.
And that's what I said. He's a very, very. He's probably. I mean, we'll see how the season plays out, but as of right now, obviously, he's one of the best quarterbacks right now before the season starts, before anybody's seat in the field. He's probably the best quarterback in the Big Ten as it stands right now. Once the season starts, then we will kind of see how everything shakes out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that Penn State's set up very well.
I think so too. And then defensively, we mentioned Jim Knowles coming in. He's coming off of a national championship. I think he even said, he's like, look, this Penn State team has what it takes to win a national championship. This man's trying. He's trying to be like Ash Ketchum, man, and just going team to team, fucking, getting every national title that he can find. That's what Jim Knowles is doing right now. So I wonder where he'll end up next year if they do win the title. The defensive line is maybe the one spot that I would say is a light on experience, but I mean, you got talented dudes everywhere. So it just, how quickly can these guys step in to the role and show what they have? But again, there are guys too up front. Dennis Sutton, very talented guy. He's a star. Zane Durant. These guys are good, known commodities. It's the guys around them that I just want to see step up, but they are obviously very talented. Linebacker, you got guys there. Campbell coming over from North Carolina had 6.5 sacks last year. Specca, I want to see him, how he steps up. Rojas, he's another guy that is a game changer. So like Trevor mentioned, linebacker, it's always, I feel like, good at Penn State. The defense is they're going to be stout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, look, they did bring in, they got stout players that are going to make a difference, but I would be remiss in not at least adding into, they have recruited well at the defensive side of the ball this season in particular, having one corner, one linebacker, and one D lineman all in the top 200 players. I just think that you guys are just reloading at defense, and to be perfectly honest, I don't have a whole lot of concerns with the defense at this point.
Yeah.
If I was to point at one concern, it's usually always falls. It's never the front seven for me with Penn State. It always seems to be my concern is the outside corners.
Yeah.
And if they can hang one-on-one and coverage sacks, things like that. I just think the secondary is always a question mark for me. It seems to always be a question mark. So I'm really hoping to see that take a leap forward for Penn State this season. And hopefully that will make them much more well-rounded defense, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, there's players back there, but I agree. Like there's times that they still, even with the talent, like the name, they still against the top end receivers in the Big Ten find a way to get burned. Not necessarily last year, just saying in general. Like
just in general, it's usually it's never the front seven. It just always seems to be the secondary that has to have help, I guess you could say, or like scheme it a little bit. Maybe it's just a scheme problem. Maybe it's the defensive backs and the way they're schemed.
Yeah, and we'll see what Knowles cooks up this year. But there's talent back there. Wheatley, I mean, he had 96 tackles. Lane's good. AJ Harris is going to be a factor. They're known commodities, and then corner, Elliott Washington's there. So I mean, there's people that they're going to step up. This team's loaded with talent. Trevor, let's just go ahead and look at the schedule because I mean, everybody knows this team's got talent. The team has the talent. Can they get over the hump? Now, here is the 2025 schedule. I'm adjusting on my screen too. And you look at this, what a great way to start. I mean, that's 3-0 start. Then you get a bye week. In every single one of those weeks, I guarantee you, they're preparing for Oregon. Every single one of those weeks, they're going to go in with a game plan.
You're going to have a four-week stretch where you're preparing for Oregon there.
And this is another reason why there's so much hype about this team is the way the schedule sets up. Now, there's tough games on it. I'm not going to bullshit you here, but it's the start 3-0. You get a bye week to prep for Oregon, and then you go to UCLA, Northwestern team that's I think is going to be improved with Preston Stone at quarterback, and then Iowa. That's one that I'm circling. Trev, what do you think about this schedule? Obviously, the back end's got some big names too.
I will say the away at Iowa, bye week away at Buckeye Stadium or Ohio Stadium is probably the most important little 3-week stretch. Because you can't just take it off when you go to Kinnick Stadium.
Yeah,
you got to come out and play. Then you have a week off to prepare for Ohio State, and then you got to go into Columbus, where more than likely Ohio State is rocking and rolling by this point. And they've got their stuff figured out, or they're having a horrible season, but we'll see.
Fingers crossed.
I would never wish that upon them.
No, never. Hey, listen, Penn State, do what you must.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, do what you do best. Keep the ball out of the hands of the other team. Run the ball, especially when you go up against Oregon. I think that's the recipe for success. Run it down their flipping throat. If you need to, as bad as it's going to taste in your mouth, take a page out of the Michigan playbook and just run it 40 times in the game.
Yeah.
If you have to. Take the game out of the quarterback, take the game out of that offense, that powerful offense in Oregon, and you probably were walking out of Beaver Stadium with a win. UCLA, we'll see. We'll see what they are.
Nico.
Good old Nico. But I think it is interesting that Nebraska game kind of, it's a possibility where they could be a problem.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that Penn State is going to lose this game, but I think it might be a cardiac event for a lot of Penn State fans, because I think it'll be closer than what probably people think it might be.
Well, talking about that, that's a great point, Trevor. When you look at the schedule, you don't want to get a pissing match with Oregon, even though I still question Dante Moore a bit. I think a lot of people are penciling Oregon again in the Big Ten championship game, and I need to see it. I need to see it from the.
I feel like that's anywhere, even in the Pac-12. Oregon was always penciled in.
Yeah, I mean they're loaded. Like, not saying they're not, but just the quarterback situation, I have questions. The Iowa game, I think they're going to be vastly improved on offense with Gronkowski at quarterback there. I think them actually having a competent passer is going to make that team even nastier with their defense, and it's going to be at Kinnick. I can almost guarantee it's a night game.
And I know we haven't said anything, but I mean, we can't really overlook Indiana.
Oh, not at all.
Because if you by chance beat Ohio State, there's a significant chance you have a hangover day the following weekend against Indiana, and then you just it just kills you.
And that's where I'm at on this is if in your path to the playoffs in the national championship, say you start off and you win every single game up to that bye week before Ohio State, and then you go and you beat Ohio State in Columbus, the high that you guys are going to have is going to be incredible. But you cannot be let down in these last couple of games. Indiana, they still have a good quarterback. Okay, it's
Michigan
not like
State is going to be improved, and it's going to be in Spartan Stadium, which is not always the easiest place to play.
Yeah, their fans are going to be crazy.
Yeah.
And then that Nebraska game, really, because if you handle these teams the way that you're supposed to, but then you go out and you drop one to Indiana, and you're like, okay, hold on now, what's going on? And then you lose to against Nebraska, who's a team that has, again, a lot of hype and a lot of you just cannot let the season get away from you guys.
And this kind of goes back to, Brendan, you'll remember this, and some of you may remember the days of the BCS. Late season losses will destroy you.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it will in this case, because I think Penn State, you'll have enough momentum and potentially be high enough in the rankings to withstand it. But if these teams are ranked or unranked and you lose to them, it potentially moves you out of and requires you to win the Big Ten championship to be in the playoff. If you have some of these late season losses to unranked teams,
it knocks you out of a home playoff game
or a home playoff.
All these things are potential. You just got to handle your shit, and we'll see. Trev, floor, ceiling, what are you feeling on this team?
See, I personally think that Oregon, Oregon, Ohio State, and I'm going to go ahead and say maybe potentially a loss to Iowa at Kinnick Stadium. I think you go 0-2 those 3 weeks. The October 18th, bye week, and November 1st. I think that middle stretch. You know what? I will go with this. You're going to probably be 9-3 low, 10-2 high. For me.
So you're taking 2 losses for their ceiling at 10.
There's 2 losses somewhere in this schedule. Who it's to, that's kind of unclear. But I mean, if I'm a betting man, it will probably be Oregon and Ohio State.
Yeah.
But I would not be surprised if they somehow find a way to beat Oregon, because they will have that preparation leading up to the game. But it would not surprise me if they drop the Iowa game, go into a bye week, and then have to travel to Ohio Stadium and then end up losing that game as well.
Yeah, so where I'm standing, I've got a floor of 9-3. And that's okay.
So far we're in agreement.
Yeah, floor, you lose to Oregon, some stuff happens. You lose to Iowa, you lose to Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
But my ceiling is 12-0 for this team. I think there's enough talent. There's a veteran quarterback. I mean, we talk about the 4 pillars, right? You have coaching continuity, which you have on the offensive side of the ball, and then you did go out and get one of the best defensive coordinators available. So that's not continuity, but you up your staff. You have a veteran quarterback. This guy, he can play. It's how far does he, how much more does he improve? You have the returning production numbers. They're in the upper levels, so that takes you there. And then a schedule is the 4th one. And I think most of the schedule is winnable with all the talent you have. You should be in every single game. There should be no reason. You'll probably be favored in every single one of these except for maybe the Ohio State game.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I look at that, you could go 12-0. I don't think you will. I think 12-0 is so goddamn hard to get.
Especially nowadays with the conferences the way they're made up.
What I'm calling on this is I think this team finally figures it out, because Ohio State, yes, they should be rolling at that point, but they still have a young quarterback. It's going to be a huge game. Allar's played in this type. The Iowa game is the one that I think sneaks up on them. I think that you get them caught looking ahead to Ohio State. People are under, selling what this Iowa team is. I could see a loss at Iowa, and then you go out and you win the rest. I think Oregon, you're going to handle them with the 4 weeks of prep. You freaking better. If you don't, I'm clowning your asses, man. I know it doesn't matter because I'm just a dude, but I'm fucking throwing ham because there's no reason you should lose to Oregon with that much prep. I don't care.
No.
And the talent you have, everything that's on the stakes, you need to win that game.
What's the over-under that they have for Penn State right now? It's got to be 9, right?
Yeah, the over-under is 10.5.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to take the under.
It's natty or bust.
I guess I'm going to take the under because I really do think they have 2 losses on that schedule.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. It could certainly happen. You lose both Iowa and Ohio, and you win everything.
Look, 10-2 is a really respectable number, and should
yeah.
get you into the Big Ten championship. Still, honestly,
you'll be right in the talks for it.
You'll be in the talk for
playoff contention. You just you can't afford to. Yeah, to me, with this talent, you've got to go all the way.
Yep.
So we shall see, guys. Let us know what you think, how you feel. Do you love the Knowles hire? I'm sure most of you do. I've seen some people on Twitter say kind of similar things to what Trevor's talking about. Ohio State fans have been shitting on him. So, I mean, obviously, yes, he left, but, you know, they're trying to back it up with
don't expect anything less from an Ohio State fan.
So, I don't know. You guys let us know in the comments. We appreciate your time. Trev, anything before we shut her down?
Nah. We appreciate you all listening. Obviously, go follow us at our @ here on Twitter. If you haven't followed us on YouTube, please follow. And don't forget to comment. It helps us out with the algorithm.
Yeah.
And also, we'd love to hear from you guys and what you think about what your team is going to do. Do you agree with Brendan on the 12-0, or do you kind of agree with me that there is a loss or two on this schedule for the top end for you guys' win-loss?
Guys, we appreciate you. Hope you have a great one. We'll see you around.
Take care, everybody.